I'm Mona Austin, and today I am in conversation with Doe.
In the background, the song When I Pray from her latest EP is playing.
She's in Shreveport, Louisiana, or from the Shreveport, Louisiana area, residing in Nashville, Tennessee. And you'll recall her family, Forever Jones, introducing their talent as an ensemble and Doe's voice being featured in their work. But now she is expanding her own wings and showing us a little bit more than her gospel side through her new project called Clarity, where she is exploring her music and also learning about who she is and letting us in on what she's discovered. Hello, Doe.
Hi, how are you?
I am well. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am really impressed with the lyrical content of this album, and my understanding is that through a partnership with RCA Inspiration, Jonathan McReynolds signed you to his label to get your voice out there. Is that correct?
Yes, that's exactly right. And I'm glad to be a part of his label. I'm glad to be the first. And he's been a friend for a long time. You know, and why I wrote that song, I was with a family member, and we were praying. They were going through a really tough time, and all I could remember was, my dad saying, "Prayer is the ancient wireless system where there are no drop calls." And he's
Wow.
always had that word in his mouth about prayer.
Let me pause right there. Let me pause. Mr. DeWitt Jones said, prayer is the ancient wireless where there are no dropped calls.
It's the ancient wireless system where there are no dropped calls.
Oh, wow. Okay, go on.
Yeah. So, so I just started kind of pouring from my heart. My brother put a track on that he was trying to write to, and it just worked. It was a divinely facilitated moment by God.
Yeah.
And then we finished the song when I went home and was working with my other brother. We finished the song.
Yeah. So it's still a family affair, huh?
It's always going to be a family affair.
And so clarity, with that being the theme of the album, sort of where were you in life and what was going on that made you want to express this journey that you're on?
Quite honestly, I've been signed since the end of 2019, and or maybe it was 2020. I don't know. Anyway, I just think that I realized at a certain point that not only could I tell the truth through music, but I should tell the truth through music. And I think that I have right to understand life anyway and to express my thoughts about life. So writing in this way it comes natural to me. And I just had to decide, these are the songs that I'm going to put out there. They're going to be the ones where I'm telling the truth and talking about the deep work that God's doing in me. So this is about a year and a half worth of just experiencing. And then Brighter's probably 6 years old. And we finished it. Jonathan finished it by adding a bridge, So it's you just live and then you see, it's like somebody who travels and they speak, they look at what they've learned and what they feel,
Yeah.
they need to communicate to the crowd and the world that God's given them.
Now, what song is the most important to you? Do you feel the most proud of on this project?
I'm proud of them all, firstly, because I did write some, with other people, and those are really cool situations. I would say the ones I deeply connect with are probably Mercy, When I Pray, I Try, and yeah, those are my three like babies.
Yeah. Let's talk about I Try, Doe. I Try is a song about, and the way I see it, it's about when you're, it's about when you're going through something and you have given things your all, and maybe sometimes things don't quite work out. But there's one line in that song that talks about accomplishments aren't really enough. And I wanted to talk to you about that in particular because so many people in your generation are accomplishment driven. I'm sure you've seen, like I've seen, these weddings on YouTube and Insta, where they are mega weddings. They look like celebrity weddings, and they're just ordinary people who invest so much
Mhm.
in being impressive.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and so many people are overachievers. We're looking at a time where the suicide rate is up among African American men. And just recently, Regina King lost her son to suicide. And he was a young man with a famous mom, and he had a career as a DJ. And then we also lost a pageant queen who jumped to her death. So, as someone who is familiar with this generation, and you're also a youth pastor, I wonder if you can speak to, maybe ways people in this generation can cope when they are going through struggles.
Yeah, I mean, depression and suicidal thoughts are one of those things to where, everybody's story is different, For some of them, it may not be tied to accomplishment. Some of them, it's tied to self-love and
Right.
or something traumatic that was never dealt with, or just a chemical imbalance and they didn't take their medicine. It's such a deep, issue with a lot of different layers. But I do agree that there's a lot of pressure on my generation to perform. I think social media added that pressure because all of a sudden everybody had a platform to perform on, and everybody had an audience, and everyone feels like there's that the only way out, if there is a mistake or if there is an issue, that the only way out for them, they feel like, is to end it. I think that there are ways that we can facilitate conversations about hope more and the other things in life that are so much more important than accomplishment.
And how do we get those conversations going?
I think that we take the spotlight off of accomplishments and start shining the light on things that truly matter. For instance, instead of highlighting, I think about positive reinforcement, continuously highlighting what someone has done. I think America can begin to make changes to make it our culture to highlight who someone is and the wonderful, loving, and caring person that they are, and their value and their worth just as a human being. I think that we can probably shine a brighter light on giving back, and that being an accomplishment that is
So
greater.
shifting that culture from
It's a culture shift for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I honestly, like, with social media, it's my job to keep my fans or my followers to date. But, there are moments where I just delete it off my phone and let and let it, well, before I even had a social media person, I just would let my page go silent for a little bit, so that I didn't have any opportunity to look at anyone else's life, but just rather live in my own.
Yeah.
And I think that's important, I think people need to get outside, Think about how video games are a huge thing today and how much vitamin D plays a role in your
Mental health. Sure. Great
Yes.
point. Great
So,
point.
yeah, so a lot of people don't get outside anymore.
We need that lithium, and I'm not a doctor, but I'm familiar with what you're referring to. We need to get outside, and in America, that's a great point, Joe, because there is a deficiency And a lot of people,
Yeah.
because we're in office buildings, so right now we're all at home, but very often even adults aren't going outside, and then our kids aren't going outside to interact anymore because
Right.
everybody is tied to a device of some sort. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that does play a huge role as well.
Yeah. And so you're saying one of the ways you cope is to sort of to regroup outside of social media. What are some of the pressures that you feel like you've encountered, and how do you manage those as well?
I think
As an artist,
something
I
that
mean.
sure. Sometimes you face the pressure of wanting the world to feel like you're doing something, wanting it to look like you're accomplishing something when you may be in a tough season of your life. And I'm not saying to put those private moments out there when you don't feel the best about yourself. But I would say, you know, you don't have to tell anybody anything. It's honestly nobody's business. What you're doing and what you're accomplishing in life, you literally don't have to post anything. And I think as an artist, sometimes we get hung up on wanting the world to feel like we still have momentum and we're still working towards something. What if
Yeah.
I'm not? What if I'm just living in this moment? What if I got a regular job for a moment so I can feel like a human? You know, I just feel like we have to get better at saying it's none of their business.
And
It
it's
is
your
my
right. It's your right
in
to
my
just
life
be, right?
to just exist. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I sure appreciate what you're saying, and I think it's going to help a lot of people, Joe. Listeners and fans would like to know. I would like to
Sure.
know if you're dating.
Oh, that's not a big deal. Absolutely not.
Okay.
I'm
You're
not.
you're
Yeah.
not dating.
Nope, just me out here being a woman and being as strong as I can be and fulfilling my purpose.
Okay, so did you have a Galentine's Day?
I actually worked today. I got to my friend did a Frank Sinatra night here, and it was his first of many. He's going to do it every Thursday night, and I sang at his first opening night and did Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and then we did a song together.
Okay. How would you like people to see your music? I know you defy categorization, and that really is a fair statement because you have so much diversity on this Clarity album. But how would you like people to see your music? If they were describing you, what type of artist would you like them to see you as?
Probably like I just want them to see me as someone who gives them the freedom to tell the truth and to walk in full surrender.
Is there anything you would like to add?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, you asked really great questions today.
Oh, thank you so much, Joe, and thank you so much for joining us with the Slice Report.
Clarity by Doe available now.